The second review assignment starts off with solving polynomial equations. So if we want to solve 2x cubed plus 7x squared plus 3x equals 0, the first thing we want to do is factor out an x. So we have 2x squared plus 7x plus 3. And now we want to factor that quadratic. And I'm going to use the guess and check method. So since I want to get a 7 in the middle, I can put a 3 over here. 2 times 3 is 6x, and a 1 here for 1x. And if I FOIL that back out, that should give me a 7x. So now to solve for x, we just take each factor and set it equal to 0, including the 0 on the outside. So our three solutions are x equals 0, x equals negative 1/2, and x equals negative 3. For number 2, we are going to let f of x equal 1 minus x squared and g of x equal 5x minus 2. And we want to find g of f of negative 2. So there are two ways to do this. We can first find g of f of x and then take negative 2 and plug it into that function. So if we were going to do that, we would want to plug f of x in wherever we see an x in g of x. So that gives us 5 minus 5x squared minus 2, or 3 minus 5x squared. So now if I take negative 2 and plug it in, I'm going to get 3 minus 5 times negative 2 squared, which gives me 3 minus 20, so a negative 17. Another way that you can do the same problem is first find f of negative 2. And if I plug that in, I should get a negative 3. If I just plug that into f of x. Then I can take negative 3 and plug it into g of x. And I should get the same answer that I got originally. And I do get a negative 17. For number 3, we want to solve the system of equations 2x plus y minus 1 equals 0. And x equals 3/4 y minus 13/4. So since x is already isolated, I'm going to take the second equation and plug it in for the x in the first equation. So I have 2 times 3/4 y minus 13/4 plus y minus 1 equals 0. So that will give me 3/2 y minus 13/2 plus y minus 1 equals 0. So to make this a little bit easier on me to solve, I'm going to multiply through by a 2. So that will give me 3y minus 13 plus 2y minus 2 equals 0. And now I don't have any more fractions to deal with. So now we have 5y equals 15, so y equals 3. Now I can take that y and plug it in and solve for x. So x will equal 3/4 times 3 minus 13/4, which is 9/4 minus 13/4, which gives us a negative 4 over 4, which equals negative 1. So since we're solving for a system of equations, we want our final answer to be a coordinate. So our final answer is negative 1, comma 3, x, comma y. For number 4, we want to find the exact value of the sine of pi over 3. So hopefully you remember from algebra 2 trig that pi over 3 is the same thing as 60 degrees. So if we draw a triangle, we want to draw a 60, 30, 90. And we need to remember that the sides of a 60, 30, 90 are root 3 is across from 60, 1 is across from 30, and 2 is the hypotenuse. And when we take the sine of 60 degrees, we're using the angle 60 degrees. So opposite over hypotenuse would be root 3 over 2. For number 5, we want to solve the inequality. The log of x squared minus 2x plus 1 is greater than the log of 25. So now this could be confusing because there's logs, but if there's logs on both sides and those logs have the same base, in this case they both have a base of 10, they cancel out. So we just have the inequality x squared minus 2x plus 1 is greater than 25 to solve. So what we need to do is first set this greater than 0. So I'm going to subtract 25 to the other side. So I have x squared minus 2x minus 24 is greater than 0. And if we factor that, we end up with, let's see, a negative 6 and a positive 4. However, this is a quadratic inequality, so we need to remember about our greater sign. If we have a greater sign, then our answers are going to lie outside of our values. So since 6 is a value and negative 4 is a value, we know that x is going to be greater than 6 and x is going to be less than negative 4. For greater, it always behaves like this. If it was less than, our arrows would come in towards each other. So our final answer is x is less than negative 4 and x is greater than 6.